All right, got a question from Timothy. Hey Bjork. All right. Do you have any tips to help me with 3 note per string fast runs? It seems very hard for me to do more than 2 or 3 sets of strings, and it seems to me that the issue is the picking hand, since with legato I have 0 issues. I think you mean alternate picking here, right? And that's a very common thing, because it's one of the harder things on guitar is to pick across all 6 strings. And the reason for that is that you have to sort of angle the pick or the right hand in all the different ways, and do that at speed and while changing the position of the right hand. So it's a lot going on. And if you've been checking out the Troy Grady stuff, you know all about that pick slanting thing. And I learned all this stuff way before I knew Troy Grady was, but I don't dispute his theories about it. I think they're correct, but the only problem I have with it is that you might start thinking too much when you do it. If you have to be like, oh, I have to angle on this note and do that, this and that, and it can feel really unnatural. And for me, what has worked really well with students, and the way that I did it way back, was to just relax my picking hand a lot and let the string, when I play something, the string will sort of dictate how the hand should move. And it's easy to miss this if you practice something slowly and you do it the way I did it for a long time as well, where I really dig in and be like, so almost robotic feel, which works great at that slow tempo. When you try to speed it up, it's a disaster. It doesn't really work, because everything is moving in one plane usually, because you're sort of really digging in and over controlling the right hand. So the other way around then is to just play it with a really low dynamic, meaning you just relax the pick almost to the point that you lose the pick, and sort of let the string, sounds cheesy, but let the string tell the pick how to slant, basically, right? And you do this for a while, you're gonna get a feeling for that, and you want to do this. You know that you're doing this right when you can feel the strings sort of bumping your right hand around a bit, and that's where it sort of gives you the cues for the slanting. And you don't really need to slant a lot, and I think the main problem for people is that you're slanting in the wrong way, meaning you do upward slanting when you want to lead to a new string with a downstroke, so you're actually hitting the string instead, or vice versa. So, but if you can keep the pick just centered almost, that's good, but even better if you can just slightly tweak it when you play. And then I think these slight tweaks happen naturally when you practice this way that I'm talking about now, where you really grip the pick super light. And once you start getting a feel for this, you can start trying to up the dynamics a bit. So you grip a bit harder, but you're trying not to lose those small micro adjustments in your right hand. Try to keep them as solid as possible. So right. So and besides that, it's a really good idea to, since you wrote in the question here that you can already do with the left hand, just work on right hand exercises. So what I like to do is, if I have a problem with the right hand, just focus on that by removing all the left hand stuff, but except that I usually do something like this. For a 3 note per string scale like this, I would just practice, take a pattern like, I'm basically just moving fifths up like that, and I pick each note 3 times just to mimic the picking technique for the scale patterns. I would just go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and so on. So. And you know, I did a opposite thing here, just went down like that. And I wouldn't practice that with, you know, super high speed either. Just do it at a medium speed. And being really relaxed in the right hand and letting the hand sort of move the way it should move. And how we got to that place was what we talked about earlier, where you relax the pick a lot and sort of learn it that way. And I find this is a much more intuitive way instead of sitting there and trying to micromanage everything as you practice. So try that out and see if that helps. Besides that, just find the specific place where it's really hard for you to play. So if you notice that, oh, I can do 2 strings fine, but when I add the 3rd string, it all starts to fall apart. Maybe just do that far and go back again. So you go and then back. That's a good exercise. And this actually just adds up to 12 notes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the same thing here. You can start with just a really light touch. Get a feel for how the hand should feel when you play it. So, and then do that on all string groups and move it around the fretboard. And so there's so many ways you can do this, but basically they all come down to finding the problem area and then making an exercise around that. So you're not just sitting there trying to do. Worst thing you can do, just try to be like, no, almost, no. You know, that doesn't help you at all. It's just gonna give your technique a really random feel, because that's basically what you're programming into your brain here. So instead, just find an exercise that focuses on the problem. Relax the right hand as much as possible so you can really feel the string sort of helping to make the adjustments, and then try to remember that feel in the right hand when you start adding your more stronger dynamic. Yeah, so I feel like I've been saying this the same thing several times in the video now, but I think it's so important, and hopefully you understand what I mean. And if not, just ask again under the video and I'll try to explain it a bit better. But it's a really, really, really helpful thing for all your technique. This, you know, regardless what you're playing actually, and anything that's sort of pick based, you can use this approach, and has really helped me a lot. So good luck with that, and thank you for your question and your support, and see you all in the next video.